Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
For live.
Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Are you ready?
This live
Are you
talk.
ready?
Live
Are you
talk.
ready?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
Live talk.
For the word of the day, the knowledge and the wisdom will increase your faith. Are you ready? For live talk,
Yeah.
because it's about time to set it off. Are you ready?
Let's go.
For the word of the day, the knowledge and the wisdom will increase your faith. Are you ready? For live talk, because it's about time to set it off.
Live talk. This live talk. Live talk. Living in vital energy. The universal language spirituality. Living in vital energy. The universal language spirituality. We're going all the way live with it. With live talk, increase your mentality, put away carnality, and increase your spirituality. Let's
Are you
go.
ready?
Live talk.
Are you ready?
This live talk.
Are you ready?
Live talk.
Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
Live talk.
For the word of the day, the knowledge and the wisdom will increase your faith. Are you ready? For live talk, because it's about time to set it off.
Just more of the participation.
Go ahead,
As
sir.
far
I'm
as the
sorry.
participation, as far as the participation, some people feel as if, I can only could bring 30% and, my spouse or my companion could bring the other 70%. But it shouldn't be a alter ego as far as the percentage, because if I bring 30%, as long as it's 100% of my effort within that 30%, the whole objective is to make the completion, which is the 100%.
Okay. So you're saying like coming from a standpoint of one person bringing in a certain percentage and another person bringing in a certain percentage equal that 100?
Right. Well, necessarily, the values in which we put into a relationship, it shifts because people look at the fact that, okay, you the breadwinner, or you have the most stability, so you're at 80%. So therefore, the equality in a relationship, it seems to shift, but it shouldn't shift if it's 100%, because the little bit that I can put in is going to be my total devotion to it.
Okay, which lead to another question. Like if we as we look, I get where you're coming from, which is a perspective to come from. But let's say if when we're talking about 100%,
and I'd like to comment on that.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead, Sister Abigail.
Because when I hear my brother, and he can always correct me after the fact, it sounds like that's from a monetary standpoint.
Pretty much.
As far as 50-50 or how that segment is, but he's and you're absolutely.
You're breaking up, Abigail. I want to hear what she said. And I want to keep you there too, brother Nick Meyer, because I like that. I like where you came from with that.
And it seems like that's going into the quote that Brother Minister brought about, as far as the stigma, the 50-50 thing, and I understand where the brother is coming from. If a person, a lot of people, they're so caught on, what can you bring to the table? What do you have to offer? And that is what moving away from, as Sister Sabrina was saying, the spiritual nature of a relationship. That is a physicality or a carnal minded thing, but it is a reality. you know, a lot of people, you know, they are, you know, stuck on that. Sister Abigail?
Yes, sir. Okay. Hopefully this
Okay,
works
go ahead,
out
go ahead.
better. But um, just to take back what the brother was saying, because I do like this conversation when we kind of talk there. Let's go about our past a little bit on what's happened to us, especially our Black brothers, the Black man. He was demoted to basically the lowest common denominator. But when we understand our history, we know that there was always a connection among us as far as what our culture saw. So when we look at what we like to call the motherland, a king, when we look at those monuments, and a king never stood by himself. There was always his queen that wasn't behind or in front of him, but beside him. So you always rule together as one. That was stripped from us. And when Black women no longer had her protector, she had to learn how to protect herself. Not that she protected herself in a way to that was right, but she protected herself in a manner to survive. We went on survival mode, and we cursed our sons because it was all about surviving and being submissive. However, when that got taken away from us and we had to learn how to provide for ourselves, we still see this cycle to this day. Fast forward to what our future looks like. We are among all like people, the Black woman is the most educated, and she's growing in numbers as far as being an entrepreneur, which means that in today's society, a lot of us we're bringing more financial dollars to the table.
Correct.
Which is
Right.
hard work. Most men, based on what society has taught us, of course, is going to feel a little intimidated, right? Because if we're bringing more money, because of our history, a lot of our sisters have attitudes, but it's because we think everything is supposed to be a role and not a partnership, but a role. A lot of times our sisters sometimes can be frustrated, not because she's bringing more money to the table. It just might be that there's still more that she even has in her own mind that she's supposed to do. Cooking, looking after the kids, washing, doing laundry, and running your business. Yeah, at first when she starts dating you, she might want to cook and do all the things. That's courtship, but that's going to wear anybody tired. It has to be a partnership at all levels, and a relationship has to be more beyond money. So I was agreeing with you because yeah, she might make 80,000 and you might bring your 30,000, but the household made $120,000. So what does that household look like? How are you dividing things? Because see, most brothers, if they find out, you know, among just your own peers, that your lady is bringing all this money and you home cooking and looking after kids and rubbing her feet, oh, you whooped. You, what they gonna call y'all, a punk? Or, you know?
Right.
That's the man.
Right.
I don't know who he is. That's
Right.
the man. No, we
Right.
gotta get rid of all of that because it doesn't matter. We stand together. We stand together. Once we can get rid of those fake roles that they put in our mind, we'll get so far.
So,
Praise Yahweh.
I'm not going.
Okay.
Now, can I chime in something on that point? Yeah, because Sister Abigail, you just set my mind on fire with that. And there was a few statements that stood out, but I want to just chime in on the emasculation of the Black man.
I love
because that is what we went through. It was systematic.
Yes.
We went through a psychological warfare. And in today's society, it has been a common theme to accept the Black woman into the business world, into the corporate world, because they are deemed, more submissive. The Black man has been made the threat. The Black man is untamable. He is, illogical and irrational. So with that systematic threat, they produce a thought within our sisters, I believe that is detrimental to us building those healthy spiritual relationships. Because as you were saying, hey, you may make $80,000, he only made $30,000, and she can get on a high horse for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not realizing, hey, this guy just brought in something to take it over 100,000. And what can we do with that? Not realizing that the powers that be want you torn away from him, want you torn away from what is going to spiritually connect you to oneness. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. We have to get back to that harmony. And that comes with knowledge itself. But I just had to chime in on that about the emasculation, because that has proved to be one of the biggest fighters in our community.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, we got a caller with your line unmuted. Give us your name, and you can go ahead, brother.
Shalom. My name is Hite Vicky Israel.
Hey, shalom, my brother. How you doing?
Beautiful.
Yes, sir. You want to chime in on this conversation?
Yes, I want to hit the topic from last week and then what the sister and brother Nehemiah just spoke about.
Okay.
In a relationship, the Milba Yahweh has come to teach us the laws that will cause us to escalate in every aspect of life. He's given us civil laws, domestic laws, hygienic laws, kingly laws. So we're looking at the domestic laws that run a household, how we treat our queens, how we treat our children, which spills over to the civil laws of how we treat each other in society. So we know that any house has to have a strong foundation. So we're talking about certain qualities and attributes that you need to look for in a spouse. And all of those terms are found inside of moral, because we always say morality is the foundation of heaven. So when we look at the synonyms and the flavors of moral, we're looking for somebody that's receptive, somebody that's retentive, somebody that's amiable, somebody that's dependable, somebody that's tactful, somebody that's reliable. These are the core traits that we got to have within ourselves and gravitate toward in our counterparts. Now, as far as the Nehemiah question about what are you bringing financially to the table, and as the brother said, this society has been set up to destroy the so-called black man of America. However, the teachings of Yahweh has elevated us above that. So we know now how to go and take heaven back by force. Yahweh teach us the power of rulership is in us learning words. So when we meet a mate, no matter what our financial situation may be, we always say pool our resources. But the key is, do we know the domestic laws that will bring the two into one? That's what needs to be focused on. What does the great light to the Hebrew Israelite teach about the domestic laws? Because economically is just one aspect of a relationship. So this is what we have to teach one another, so that when we are looking for a potential mate, those attributes will already be inside of the mix. That'll be a part of the ingredient, so that the relationship is a heavenly one. That way we'll do away with the domestic abuse, mentally as well as physically, because we'll know how to talk to each other. We'll know how to treat one another. And I think that's what we're missing as a whole right now. What does the great light say about it? Because I hear everybody keep giving attributes and features of what they're looking for, but I have not heard anybody say, what does the Bible teach? If I look for the dietary laws, I can go to Leviticus 11 and say, don't eat this, don't eat that, don't eat this, or don't eat that. Where are the domestic laws on how should I treat my queen? Because one of the synonyms of moral is being gallant. Gallant means to be polite and courteous toward women in a courtly manner. So I need to learn how to be polite. I need to learn how to be courteous toward the sisters, and vice versa. Because the king say in him, there is no gender. So she got to have those same attributes. So these are key traits I got to look for.
Yes, sir. Well, I always appreciate you chiming in, my dear brother, sharing knowledge and information with us. One of the things when we talk about, you hit on some great points, because we have to kind of look at the Holy Scriptures when it comes to how we do anything. You know, we have to consider that in everything that we do. And even what we're talking about when we're talking about those more attributes, even when we talk about honesty and things of that nature, I think that's a domestic. I think that's a domestic law when we're talking about those type of things. But I also just to chime in, because I know the minister opened up with a statement, and Nehemiah came back and mentioned something, and I think it's a great topic and something to talk about. But when it comes to, and this is just me, and I'm throwing it out there as a conversation to have, but when it comes to, you know, a woman and a man, and coming together, I still believe that even if you're not bringing financially to the relationship, you have to bring 100% of yourself. And I think likewise with a woman, you got to bring 100% of yourself, because you're looking to establish and build something. And, you know, it's just like, if we go biblical, you know, when Yahweh brought Abraham up out of his land and he got with Sarah, and when you look at what happened through the process of Yahweh saying that you'll be a father of all nations, something had to happen right there. They had to start with them two to establish a great nation. And I think both have to bring 100% to the table in order to make that happen. Sometimes it may not be as satisfying to the woman, and it may not be as satisfying to the man, but to accomplish the ultimate goal, everybody got to bring 100% to the table. Even if it's saying, you know what, I'm gonna give 100% to making sure that you are able to go to school, become an attorney or whatever it may be, so that you can provide not provide for us, but you can be successful as an individual. And then I want that same, you know, support, because I want to do X, Y, Z. And at the end of the day, we're bringing that home to the table, and really it's supposed to be 200%. Like the minister was saying, like Samuel said, you're supposed to bring 200%, not just 100%. It's supposed to be 200%. You bring to the table 100% from the female, 100% from the male. You bring that together. What do you think about that, Nick Meyer, from another angle?
I was reflecting back on the scripture when he said that, and you know, and when you go into the Tanakh and you look at Genesis chapter 2, verse 18, it says that the Lord God Yahweh said, "It is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a help meet for him." Now, the key word in this is meet. Now, when you look into the denotation of the word meet is a difference between a mate. See, a lot of us assume that the word was saying that he bought us a mate. Right. A mate is a helper. But when you look into the word meet, as you look at I would look at the denotation for the word meet, and one of the denotations of the word meet is to appear to the perception of. Mm-hmm. She becomes identical to us. She's the reflection of us. She's not just a helper. See, when we started dealing with the labor, we started dealing with, okay, I should be rewarded according to what I put into it. But when you become a reflection of something, now we deal into the morals of the individual, because now you're seeing the godliness in the individual or in the relationship itself.
Okay. I love that. I love that perspective.
But I also take reflection as just being reminded that you're one. Mm-hmm. And the 100% has to be the commitment and the common goal that you're trying to achieve, either in raising your family, continuing to raise yourself, raising your passion. The 100% has to be the commitment, and it has to be the support, because we are a reflection of each other. But I promise you, if Jeremiah became a mason versus us doing the accounting part, which I have the accounting degree, Jeremiah has several degrees. One of those being a mason. If he wanted to get into construction and run a masonry, the best I can do is answer the phone and keep up with the payments, because I'm sure not going to go out there in that hot sun and look for bricks. I'm not. So the 100% or the 50, you're not going to get that with the work. But you will get the commitment and the support of understanding. Hey, you got a big job. That means you're going to have to go out of town. I will make sure you get that check, and I'll pack, I'll cook, you will be okay. I'm what I can to the table. Make sure you okay. So it's balance in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, you bringing a percentage to the table. Sometimes we overlook those. We may call them small things. I may be out there, doing all this labor in this heat or what have you, but you're still doing almost equal the same amount of work, but it's just on another. A lot of people don't even know how to do administrative work. You can start a business. If you don't have an administrative part of your business, you don't really have a business. How you gonna invoice customers? How you gonna get paid? How you gonna make sure that people are paying you on time? So it's a lot of things that goes into that comes along with that we don't take into consideration. And from a male's point of view, we may say, okay, I'm doing all this here. From a female's point of view, okay, well, I'm doing all this here. Let's change places. You may not be able to do this here, but you ain't gonna be able to do this. So that's why when you talk about 100%, she bringing 100%, you bringing 100%. That's 200%. If you want to, and you're bringing 100% of yourself, you're bringing 100% of yourself. That's what equal the whole, in my opinion. Ezekiel, I know you're still there.
Yes, sir. Yeah, definitely.
You had wanting to chime in on that?
Oh yeah, I want to chime in on what Nehemiah said about being a reflection.
Yes, sir.
Because my personal belief is my queen, I don't want her to be a reflection of me. Because when I look at, Yahweh, he's the sun. When I look at the moon has no light of its own. It reflects the light of the sun. So I need her to have her own light. Her name is going to give her her own light. So I want her to reflect who she is. And as you said, when she brings the qualities in her name and I merge it with the qualities in my name, then we become that son.
Yes, sir.
So that's what I want her to focus on.
Because see, reflection has many meanings.
No, but the thing is, like
that mirror reflection, but it happens to be that reflection that gives out that light.
And that's too, like when we talked about spirituality, we really have to be a reflection of the Most High. And that's how, like when we talk about the L that's in each other, that's the spiritual side of us. We're seeing the God that's in each other, and that's who we're supposed to really get attracted to and be connected with, the God that's in one another. And I think that's what we kind of get away from. And I think that's what Ezekiel was talking about when it comes to having those domestic laws, and I think that's associated with spiritual principles when it comes to that true connection. Because oftentimes we see, somebody sees, a maybe not so attractive guy with a very attractive woman, and they're trying to figure out how did that happen. Of course, sometimes, it can be a situation where money was involved in that, but then there's a situation sometimes where character was involved in that. The person may have a good character, talking about those more attributes we're talking about. And a person seeing those more characters of that person, and they became attracted to that, opposed to the physical side of that person. So I do agree that when it comes to a reflection, we all have to have our own, light. I do agree with that. We all have to have our own light, because even being a reflection of the Most High, and we talk about L.I.V.E, even being the reflection of Him, we still have our own light that shines. And we have to be able to shine our light in order for people to be attracted to the great light.
Correct. This is why in James 1:17 it says that every good gift and perfect gift comes from above, comes down from the Father of light,
Yes, sir. All right, my brother. I see we round by 422. I ain't hear nothing from the minister. I know he's out and about. He's on the road, and I know he's when we're talking about nurturing our relationship, minister. Do you want to chime in? Because that's what he's doing right now.
Yes, I definitely do. Been a lot of good conversation. Unfortunately, I hit some choppy areas and lost some signal, but I heard about, and I hope I don't drop it and you lose me.
Okay.
But even what Sister Sabrina has said about the spirituality, and when you get with someone, you know that connection is there, and how you were just talking about being attracted to someone, and you do want to be you want to be attracted, but beauty comes in many different forms, and you have to be careful that if let's say you physically attracted, but that spirituality right there from the beginning, something told you it's not there, but you're gonna push it to try to make it work because you're looking at the physical and the spiritual wasn't there. You go get into it and find out that it is not. So, and that spirituality brings it where the inner beauty and outer beauty become one. But now when it comes to one part of nurturing a relationship, you do have to be able to, it's about becoming that 100%. It's about becoming one. And there's times to, like, for example, I'm taking some time this weekend with my queen, and it's just gonna be one-on-one. No children, no grandchildren, and then we can link up spiritually. I personally love to see the sunrise on the ocean and look at the vastness and the beauty of what the Most High is able to do, to just see all of that water, but it just stopped right there, and it holds you in awe. But that becoming one and nurturing relationship it requires work, and you have to work on it. You have to build it, and then you have to be able to communicate. As one of the sisters talked about that last week, and the biggest part of communication is listening. You have to be able to listen and then hear, and that's how you really build a relationship. Because if someone's talking and you're not listening, and you're not, or if they're talking and if you're not hearing, you're gonna miss it. And the pieces to your relationship that you need to put together, you're being told and you're hearing it, you're listening, but if you're not hearing it, that's where the communication falls apart. But you definitely want to nurture that relationship by being able to put in that quality time, but you gotta be able to open up those ears, which is the window. They say that eyes are the window to the soul, but the ears are what hears what's going on in that soul.
You know what, minister? That's a powerful statement. I always kind of looked at it the other way when it comes to hearing and listening, because sometimes we can talk to our children, they may hear what we're saying, but they're not listening. And I think it's the same way with a relationship. A person can almost hear what you're saying, but don't listen to what you're saying. I think listening gives that understanding and that presence to that conversation. When a person becomes, mindful of what's being said, because if you're not mindful of what's being said, then it goes through one ear and not the other ear. But when you begin to become present, you make yourself present. I mean, you know that you're here, and you know that that person is here, and you see that person for who you truly see them for. If I see my queen for my queen, then I'm gonna listen, I'm gonna recognize her, and I'm gonna recognize her presence. But at the same time, I want her to recognize my presence at the same time. And I want us to be able to listen to one another. Not just hear, but listen, because I think there's a greater understanding when it comes to listening opposed to hearing, when one word can go, when a word can go through one ear and not the other.
I feel a lot of people in relationships, this is where they have some murky waters.
Mm-hmm.
Because in relationships, everyone wants to be heard,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody wants to listen.
Mm.
And sometimes when we listen, you only listening from the defense. It's like you're trying to play chess in the relationship. I'm gonna see what you got to say so I can come better. See, but then that means you're not truly listening. Because to listen is to consider.
Yeah.
And you got to consider what your partner is saying or trying to relay.
Yeah. And I always say, like, you look at it like from a standpoint, you know, me, you know, I have a paralegal degree, a legal back. I ain't gonna say a legal background, but I have studied a little bit in that area. But when it comes to, like, for instance, when you're talking about arbitration or something like that, or you going into a deposition, or you need to take some type of notes. You're hearing one side, the other side is also listening. But a lot of times we want to intervene at a point where we want to make our point, opposed to just jotting down the information. Okay, this one point I want to talk on when it's my time to talk. This is another point I want to talk on when it's my time to talk. And, you know, just going down that line and just writing that information down. So when it comes to your time to talk, because you done heard and you listen, okay, I understand that. I understand where you're coming from. You made one point here. I just want to kind of just, piggyback off of that. And hopefully you're at a point where you're having a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the definition of a conversation.
and learn your mate's, I'd say, listening ability. Because what I mean by that is,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just being transparent and honest, I am a listener that has to have some time to process the information. So if you say, or if Jeremiah has told me something, he'll laugh because I'm the spouse that will come back 3 days later, like, hey, I was thinking about what you said. And
Right.
you was kind of on point there.
Right.
Your delivery probably worked my nerves a little bit, but that just means I heard you. I just didn't want you to be right at the time, but you was kind of right.
Right.
So, that part of patience, but listening and hearing, just have some, didn't I talk about patience anyway?
Oh, yeah, patience, yeah.
I broke down the patience already.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right.
That's the Hebrew word and listen to hear is shema, and shema is dealing with to hear things intelligently. We can hear noise and sounds, but if you don't have the facility to actually discern which place those noises go in, or be able to understand what's going on, then you just heard something.
When we spiritualizing anything that we're talking about, I'm glad you brought that point forth. We definitely need to consider that, when we considering the spiritual side of what we're talking about today. It's a great point that you brought out. Looking at the time right now. So what I'm gonna do, we'll take a quick break and we'll come right back with the ambassador thoughts of the day, and then we'll go into the reading and get ready to close out. Be right back. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
For live.
Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Are you ready?
This live.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
Live talk.
For the word of the day, the knowledge and the wisdom will increase your faith. Are you ready for live talk?
Yeah.
Because it's about time to set it off. Are you ready?
Let's go.
For the word of the day, the knowledge and the wisdom will increase your faith. Are you ready for live talk?
Yeah.
Because it's about time to set it off.
universal language spirituality. Living in vital energy. The universal language spirituality. We're going all the way live with it. With live talk, increase your mentality, put away carnality, and increase your spirituality. Let's go. Live talk.
Are you ready?
This live talk.
Are you ready?
Live talk.
Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
Live talk.
For the word of the day, the knowledge and the wisdom will increase your faith. Are you ready for live talk? Because it's about time to set it off. All right, we're back, family. Of course, I'm not in the studio, so I don't have all of my equipment available, so I can't.
No, that was good. We got ready to, but we already been live with this live talk.
All right, so family, at this time, we're gonna have our dear brother Shubael share with us some thoughts of today or thoughts in society. What's on your mind, Ambassador?
Hey everyone, how's it going? How's it going? Peace, peace. So, you know, I was watching the news, and what struck me was that this guy that was under the Obama administration, he worked for the Health and Human Services under Obama, HHS, Sylvia Matthews Burwell. And Mr. Burwell is promoting mandatory vaccinations. And, you know, that's always, you know, stands out to me. You know, I follow the COVID thing. And, you know, on previous shows, I spoke about the COVID thing because I want our people to be aware. You know, things is talked about, is prophecies to come about, but you must be conscious to understand what's going on and why it's happening. And this guy was saying that, hey, in order for Americans to go to work or to get a job, they have to take this vaccine. And they have a bill that's supporting this mandatory vaccination. You know, they're doing it with the passports. In order for you to travel, you got to take the shot, you got to do this and you got to do that. Now, keep in mind what I spoke with before about how they were, you know, giving out these incentives for people to take the shot. You know, they was giving out to college age students scholarships if they take the shots. They was offering people money if they take the shots. They was in some states they was offering prisoners an early release date if you take the shot. Now, a point that I want to make here is that this shot hasn't been fully, what's the word I'm looking for? It hasn't went through the rigmarole of, is it dangerous or not? It hasn't been through all of the steps that they would normally take. These things take decades to know if the symptoms are going to be, you know, bad on your heart. Is he going to do this? Is he going to do that?
They only say that it's a trial.
It's a trial. And it got passed through under an emergency bill that they passed through under emergency situations. So, you know, I want our people to be conscious of what's going on here, you know, and to understand that, hey, we need to be more involved in the process as far as, you know, here in Florida, Senator Rubio, you know, he is putting a proposal or bill together to say, no, we don't want to do the mandatory worker vaccination is what it's called. So people need to be aware that there are options and there are other people that are, you know, fighting, that are challenging this, and you can, you know, join that battle. Another Senator Ron Johnson, which is a Republican from Wisconsin, he is totally against it. He is the House, he is the senator over foreign relations, and you know, and he was just like, hey, ain't nowhere in the world that I can back something like this in good conscience. And I was shocked to hear this guy say this. I was shocked. I was so shocked I had to go into his background, you know, and I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest and transparent here. You know, I be a little iffy when it comes down to politicians because they play politics. You know what I mean? I understand the rhetoric, the rhetoric. You know, I understand it. I know it. So when I hear certain things, it makes my antenna goes up. So and he made a valid point where he was saying that they wanting to mandate that Americans, in order to go to work, to get a job, take the vaccine. Yet the people that they've been held prisoners coming from Mexico a few years back over the border, they were bringing their families. They are now releasing these people into America without the vaccine. Something don't seem right to me, because where are most of these people are going to go? They're not going to the suburbs. Where are they going to be at? Yeah. So that is just something that I want to share with, the community at large and all of the people out there in Zoom and Facebook Live world and my brothers and sisters.
All right. Ambassador, appreciate your thoughts of the day. Definitely, we want to take that into consideration. Do any research that you think that's needed when it comes to that. But when you talk about those points, those are valid points that you make. And I want people to also, we want to be able to consider all of that. So thank you for those thoughts of the day. All right, family, at this time, we get into the part where we share a little information about a book that the author may read. There's a lot of different books that interest me at this time. And right now, when it comes to me personally, spirituality is a key component. Spirituality is truly, it makes up your true nature of who you are. And I think coming into your spirituality is a key component to you connecting to the Most High, L.I.V.E. And myself, I wrote a book called The Spiritual Significance of a Name. The Spiritual Significance of a Name is a book that can help you on that journey of achieving, that purpose in your life and connecting to who you truly are. One of the things I really was proud of when we went to the event this weekend was my son in his presentation. And he talked a little bit about the spiritual significance of the name. He really didn't talk that much about the book. He talked about how the book inspired him. But he talked about his name, and he talked about how his name connects him to his purpose in life and what he's seeking to do. And I thought that was fascinating how he put that together and the information together, which probably going to be on my either my YouTube or on my page at YeremiahEsrael.com. So you can be looking forward to that. Anybody that's signed up or follow me on YeremiahEsrael.com, you can follow me there. You can look at past events. Also, you can get caught up on events as well. Know what's going on. What's our next event? There's also, like I said, there'll be the ebook version coming out soon. So it's some exciting things in the work at YeremiahEsrael.com. Like I said, you can go there, you can subscribe, and then you also can become a member, and you can take me everywhere you go. Check that out. You can you can download the app. And you can take me everywhere you go. No, but it's a beautiful thing though. This age and technology, I mean, it's just fascinating what you can do how we can connect with one another. And I think it's at that time, that all good people, wherever you come from, wherever your background is, whether you're, whatever your faith is, a lot of times we get caught up on religion. I think we talked about that in one of our programs where we talked about the difference between religion and spirituality and how we must connect spiritually and not allow religion to divide us. And I think that's what's more important than anything when it comes to us connecting each and every one of us as good people. So that's my insert for today when it comes to a book, The Spiritual Significance of a Name. Definitely, if you don't have it, you can get that book from YeremiahIsrael.com. You also can get it from the Nation of YHWH.com. That's the Nation of Yahweh, which is YHWH.com. Follow us on Facebook at the Education Center ORL on Facebook. And then on YouTube, it's the Education Center Orlando on YouTube. And I'm going to give my co-host the opportunity to sign off. Minister, is you there and available? Minister's probably dropped off. He's probably in an area that he can't speak. Shubaya, you want to sign off, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I just want to say peace to all the people. Thank you for chiming in. And as the brother said, it's about that time for all good people, no matter your race, creed, or background, to come together.
Yes, sir. Abigail, you want to sign off on?
This was, of course, once again, a great topic. I thank you, brothers, for allowing us to co-host this show, and I look forward to many more. I can't help but to always say we always talking. See, that's a good thing, isn't it?
It is a great thing. All right, until next time, which probably will be next week. Until next week, peace, prosperity. Love you all. Peace out. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
For live.
Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Are you ready?
This live.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready? For the word of the day, the knowledge and the wisdom will increase your faith. Are you ready? For live talk,
Yeah.
because it's about time to set it off. Are you ready?
Let's go.
For the word of the day, the knowledge and the wisdom will increase your faith. Are you ready? For live talk,
Yeah.
because it's about time to set it off.
Live talk. This live talk. Live talk. Living in vital energy. The universal language spirituality. Living in vital energy. The universal language spirituality. We're going all the way live with it. With live talk, increase your mentality, put away carnality, and increase your spirituality. Let's go. Live talk.
Are you ready?
This live talk.
Are you ready?
Live talk.
Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
Live talk.
For the word of the day, the knowledge and the wisdom will increase your faith. Are you ready? For live talk, because it's about time to set it off.